right now, I am walking down the street, Carmel, here in Colorado Springs. But the street's not Carmel. The street is Shelton Road here in Colorado Springs, in an area that we lived in. One of the last places that we lived in before we moved to Indianapolis. Actually, the house where I turned 10 years old at, here in Colorado Springs, I'm walking around to right now, which is right around the corner here, which the street is Carmel. So we'll talk about school at Carmel, but the street is Carmel as well. That in a house that we once lived in. Some 41, 42 years ago. Which, here's the thing. Not a lot has changed here, other than the time, and the houses have aged 42 more years. Now, the houses were somewhat newer then. They were only maybe 10. I mean, these houses are less than 50 years old, most of them, in this area. Some of them, from, 50 to 55 years, but less, when we lived here, they were relatively young houses. Here we are at Carmel and Sheldon. I don't know if you can see the sign there. See that? There we go. And the school I went to was Centennial, which is down the street that way. I used to walk to school. I always walked to school here in Colorado. Either walked to school or got dropped off sometimes, but I never actually caught the school bus here. Even though school bus is here, but I was never far enough from the school to where I had to catch the school bus, which is interesting as I reflect upon it now. So I actually never caught a school bus until we lived in Indianapolis in my junior high days. Until junior high. First time I had caught a school bus. That's pretty interesting as I reflect on it. But let's see here. And this is the old neighborhood. This is where the neighborhood's at today. Now let's see here. I think this is the house. So it's 1646. I think this is the house. I think. From my 10-year-old mind, if I'm not mistaken, I think so. Revisiting different places that I grew up here, as I'm on this spiritual sabbatical. It's really interesting in seeing the time has done and does with this all.
You can learn how to drive when I was in high school. I have a car by now.
Ain't that it? God bless you. Ain't that it? Yeah, so this is it's something else, now in 1983, the neighborhood, like I say, was newer and more, it's interesting because the property values are obviously higher than they were then, but as you can see, things are depreciating, and the economic structure here in Colorado Springs has shifted quite a bit to where now you're seeing a real, even though the property costs more, but you're seeing a deceleration in earning power, which is starting to really show on and the fatigue on these neighborhoods that were once brand new, and they're starting to be divested from, I can tell, and going through what'll probably be some forms of gentrification in ways, because as I understand it, Colorado Springs itself is actually seeing a boom in population growth. So we'll see how that turns out, but this is really interesting seeing these things from my view now versus this is the backyard. I remember playing in the backyard by myself as a kid. But perspective wise, not realizing the grand magnitude of this really beautiful city, beautiful part of the country. And as I walk even further up this hill, remembering little spots I played on, not really understanding and really appreciate. Well, actually, here's the thing, though. I've always appreciated looking at these mountains my whole life. When we moved, that's the number one thing I missed, and I knew I missed it. I missed it emotionally, viscerally. As we miss loved ones, I missed it. As we miss loved ones, I missed it. Interesting perspective. Just kind of had to take a look at that there. That's one of the products that I sell. I have to look at even the different, the littering and everything. That's pretty prevalent, apparently, but it just shows that's part of the economic degradation that's occurring, and that has occurred. But see, here's the thing, though. In this particular area, this has actually always been a fairly, matter of fact, long story short, this has always been a low-income area. Go to figure. In a Colorado Springs, a low-income area has never emulated low-income areas in other parts of the country. Well, that has officially started to show and wear now. So now the low-income neighborhoods are starting to really look like low-income neighborhoods elsewhere. And so, having been traveled, different places and seen different places and lived different places, I understand a lot more about what that looks like in real time. But as I walk here up the hill, and you'll see how the visual perspective is about to just change, just shift. Now this school here, my sister went to this school. Now it's Carmel Community School. It was Carmel High School. It was middle school, because it was middle school for her. Yeah, it wasn't high school yet. It was middle school when she went here. Back in 1983, 84. Before we moved from here to Prince Hall, where our family grew up for years, and that's the last place that we lived at before we moved to Indianapolis in 1984. But, all right. And this is after I turned 10 years old here. See, that's the thing. I remember my 10th birthday here in that house that I just showed you. I remember it because my mother got off of work. She got off of work late at night, and she put my birthday present, which was a truck. It was a semi truck and trailer and she put it in my room. And I woke up that morning, like early that morning, probably before that. It was still late. It was early morning. And I saw it and I started playing with it immediately. That's the memory I have. And I had that truck. That truck followed us to Indianapolis. I had that truck for a very long time. It got out. That particular toy got all the play out of it. All of the play out of it. Every single bit of the play got out of that toy. Out of that semi-truck that my mama bought me. That's a beautiful memory. Walking up the hill, as the perspective is starting to already change. But the place is still the same, relatively. But the view, the perspective. It's an old basketball court. It's the school's basketball court. Working. I need one of those lawnmowers, but a newer version. Yeah, but it's coming. All right. And this is a very good walk too. This feels delicious. The wind is blowing as you can hear it. Smelling the fresh grass cut. The air is sweet though. It's noticeably sweet as we're in this higher elevation. 5,300 plus feet. No, 6,000, I think, 6,000 plus feet above sea level here, which is roughly about 5,300 feet higher than Indianapolis from a sea level standpoint, which is noticeably different on my body. You know, I feel it mostly in talking. That's why I'm exercising talking now. Because being someone who speaks in depth quite a bit, that's where I started to notice the elevation difference first. I didn't know what was going on because I felt fine otherwise. But once I began talking in depth, see how the view is changing already? Once I began talking in depth, it was like I was getting hiccups or stuttering and sputtering, you know, slurred speech and so forth. I'm like, oh, what's going on? It's the altitude. It is the altitude. I'm like, oh, okay. Had to figure that out. Part of this spiritual sabbatical is major. God has officially rent the curtain. No more what was, only what shall be. It's officially official, not just for me, for all of us. No more. The jig is up. Look, the perspective change as we walk up the hill. What you're able to see, you view as you elevate. Your view, you see more because you've elevated. You begin the ascension. You begin to elevate not just your thinking, but physically, spiritually elevated to where now you start seeing more of what God's already done, what God's already built. Nothing new under the sun, literally. You just couldn't see it because you didn't elevate. Period. Didn't walk up that hill. Now here's the thing, I'm saying this because now when I was 10, I played on the lower part of that hill, as I'm pointing to it. That hill right there, I played there. I didn't pay much attention to this perspective because I saw it on a regular basis. It was kind of built in. I never came this far up the hill and stood here as I'm doing now, partaking of this view with the awe and majesty, especially because I didn't want to go too far from home. See, I never went too far from home on my own. You see, I go far enough on my own. I never went too far on my own. As I've gotten older and I've gone further on my own, knowing and trusting God more, and have learned and developed and added more to my personal toolbox, that now, when I look at this perspective, first I know I have to elevate more past where I'm at, okay? I know that, I have to realized. Now I have to take the steps, and begin the ascension in order to get to where what God has already built, He's already constructed, He's already did it. He didn't already create it, just like He created me. He already did it. It been done. It's already done. He's already did it. it's a wrap. He's already done it. You just can't see it yet because you haven't ascended yet. You haven't become aware yet that you should ascend, that you must ascend. But once you become aware that you must ascend, well, the perspective, the view changes. The view changes. Then you can start seeing with a clearer understanding what's been in front of you, what's been available to you all along. What's been available to you all along. May seem small in the distance. The closer you get to it, the bigger it gets. The more you ascend, the more it makes sense, the more it becomes attainable. When you see it, you can go after it. If you can't see it, you can't go after it. And this is what it is. This is where I take you on this walk. This is for me. This is my spiritual sabbatical. God is doing way more with way less. I can't speak for the rest of y'all. I can only speak for me. But I have and I am receiving everything that God has purposed me for. I am doing everything that God is requiring me to do. I will do everything that God requires of me. I will count it all joy. I will steward it. I will, in stewarding, that's protecting it, that's using it for God's purposes. That's serving my family as much as it hurts, but holding my family accountable. Maintaining and developing and growing and strengthening the standard that was set before us through those that came before us, and revitalizing by the hand of God. In Jesus' name, amen.